All right, beautiful. So at this point, you either have your beautiful lay flat book bound in front of you or that spiral coil. Whichever one you have, we're going to dive right into the journey. So her becoming is 12 months long. However, there are some pre-phases that come with the devotional. Now, I want you to think about the pre-phases in the context of a farmer. When a farmer goes to plant a seed that's going to grow crops and make his land fruitful, he doesn't just walk outside and throw the seed and then just hope it grows. He begins to till the land, so removing every thorn, every stone, or anything that's going to potentially harm this seed from growing. So I want you to think about your pre-phases in that sense. This is where you begin to till the ground of your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, so that when God begins to do his work in those 12 months, you are ready for your fruits to grow. So you're going to start the pre-phases in her manual, which has phase 1 and phase 2, which will kind of walk you through what this journey is going to look like, ask you some reflective questions that you will need to answer and be honest in, so that you're able to walk this journey fruitfully. Once you get out of those 2 phases, you're going to jump right into her spiritual inventory. This is where you really begin to get honest with God on where you are spiritually, right? Because you cannot change what you refuse to examine. So this section invites you to stop performing and really get real with God. And here's a scripture you can reflect on. Psalm 139 says, "Search me, O God, and see if there are any wicked ways in me." So this is your chance to get real with the Lord. Throw out everything that's in your heart on where you are spiritually, which will then lead you into her roadblocks. This is where most of your healing is going to occur, because you begin to list all the things that are holding you back, whether it's the past, the pain, unforgiveness, fear, doubt, comparison, whatever it is, you're going to list them out here. Because before you can become who God called you to be, you must agree to release who pain tried to shape you into. So healing is not denial. Healing is agreeing with God's truth. So this section invites you to let God touch what you've been protecting, what you've been keeping, what you've been hiding inside your heart, because you cannot build intimacy with God while you're still guarding what He's asking to heal. So once you're done with your roadblocks, you then move into her sacrifice, which is one of my favorite spaces, where you really begin to see where our heart is, because God is now asking you, what are you willing to give up to make time for me? What are you willing to give up to build intimacy with me? So intimacy will cost you comfort. Sacrifice is not a loss when it comes to the kingdom. It is an exchange. So this section will challenge you, because closeness with God is always purchased with surrender. And I can tell you that it's always worth it. Then we get into her declarations, speaking life over yourself. For a lot of us, this is hard. It's hard to speak life into ourselves. It's hard for us to see ourselves in the eyes of God. So this section is going to help you do that. The next place is her commitment. You can love God and still avoid obedience. This section is where desire becomes decision. Commitment is not about perfection, it's about allegiance. So you need to pledge your allegiance to the Lord, that you are going to commit to this journey, that you're going to commit to yourself, that you're going to commit to fruitfulness, you're going to commit to doing the work. I have another favorite section in the devotional, and it's time blocking. I live by time blocking. And so when it comes to making room for God, we have to intentionally set aside time for God. So this is the choice for you to steward your time. Intimacy with God is not built in spare moments, it's built in sacred ones. So the devotional teaches you how to block out time, to protect time, and to honor time, not as productivity, but as devotion to God. Your relationship with God deserves more than leftovers. And when you choose Him in your schedule, you will feel Him in your spirit. As I mentioned before, this devotional is not built on pressure. This is an undated devotional, so you can start those 12 months whenever you want to. Once you get out of the time blocking phase, you then go into some of our fun pages like your challenge tracker to build consistency, to build boldness. It also comes with a section for you to learn Bible verses that speak to you as you're studying. There's also a prayer power board tracker. This is where you begin to practice that spiritual discipline of prayer, praying for others. Her becoming gratitude log for you in there to just thank God for this journey. And then once you get through those trackers will always be there, so you don't have to fill them out now. As you start your month 1 and you start diving in, then you can start playing around with those trackers. So once you dive into month 1, your 12-month begins. You begin the her becoming journey. Transformation does not happen in moments. It happens in obedience over time. The devotion is 12 months because becoming is not rushed. You are not here to be inspired. You are here to be formed and become who God called you to be. So once you jump into the first month, you'll see there on the first page, there's a little welcome for you, your theme for that month, your scripture, your challenge, and you jump right into that. And then you'll go ahead and see that time blocking section that we talked about. You'll dive right into your study. You'll dive into the work that you have to do. And then you'll dive into one of our pages called Context Matters. Now, this page exists because we believe that when we read the Bible, we are meant to read it in context. There's lots of pages for you to write down your thoughts in. There's questions, reflections to walk you through a fruitful time. So you'll journey through every month in the same sequence: your challenge, your reading, your work, your prayer, all the things, all in 1 month. You don't have to worry about checking it off daily. You just spend time focused on you and God, no pressure. You stay in that month as long as you want to. This is undated, remember that. So you stay in that month as long as you want to, and you let God just work in your heart and do all the work. Also, as you journey through the 12 months, we have hidden QR codes that you can scan once you get to that little gift, and it'll be a word of encouragement to stir your spirit, to cheer you on, to keep on going, because you can do this. When you get to the very end, there's a section in there for you to testify and rejoice of the great works that God has done in your life. And remember, you get to keep this as your keepsake in that beautiful dust bag, in that beautiful box, that you can just hold on to that journey of what God has done in your life. And remember, you can always come back to this devotional and let God do another work and another pruning in your life. I am excited for this journey ahead of you, and I pray that God will meet you right where you are.